Fine, we had seen the different rules for different browsers like IE, Mozilla, and Chrome. Now let's look at the record and run settings and the rules for Windows-based applications. Like if you have to record and run on Windows-based application using UFT, what do you need to do? Right. So hold on. Right. Now the first thing is that if you go into your record option over here on the top record menu, in that you will see record and run settings. In that you will see Windows application tab. Fine. By default, when you install your UFT, you will see that the second radio button is checked, and along with that these two checkboxes will be checked. Fine. Applications opened by UFT and applications specified below. Okay, if you keep these default options, and if you start recording, if you go inside your recording mode, fine, and after going inside the recording mode, if you go and open up any Windows based application, like I'll open calculator, right, and it will just record the first line of opening the calculator. After that, whatever actions I am performing inside the calculator, it is not recording those. Okay, so with default settings, UFT will not record the Windows based applications. Please note this, a lot of people come to me with this issue that UFT is not recording, right? So you have to check the third checkbox as well, applications open via desktop. That means the applications which you use. So you keep all these three checked, or you simply choose the first radio button, that is record any open application. Fine, it's completely up to you, right? So if I select this one, and if I after this, if I just go into the recording mode, hold on, and if I open my Windows based calculator, and if I click somewhere, see, it's recording, right? Okay, see, it's recording, and if I stop this, I can stop this from here. Okay, so it's quite simple. The code is also easy to understand. Window calculator dot win button underscore 2 button underscore 4, right? But one thing is that if you change it, if you think that you manually change it to button underscore 7, it will click on 7. No, it will not be like that. Please note this. I'll tell you the reason for this later on, but whatever code is recorded, don't fiddle with that code. Okay, you can run the code as well. You can click on run, and it will run it. It will open another calculator, and you see that it's kind of stuck on the line number 2. Okay, it's kind of stuck on the line number, the second line, which is this line. Well, the reason for this is because, when you are working with UFT, make sure while running Windows based application, okay, only one instance of the Windows based application should be opened. At times this can give an issue. Okay, if you just cannot, you should not rather open different instances of Windows based applications. Fine, make sure there is no instance opened in the beginning, because first line will open the calculator. Okay, only one calculator should be running. So now if you run this, you will see that it executes perfectly fine. Fine, it's executing line by line, right? Okay, so the rule for the Windows based application is that firstly, in the record and run settings, make sure that these are checked. Secondly, only one instance should be running, and thirdly, when you are recording, okay, make sure the Windows based application is opened after opening QTP. Just like web based application we had, okay, you have to open the browser after opening UFT. Similarly, for Windows based application as well, for recording that, the application has to be opened after opening UFT. Alright, so this was about Windows based application, very simple. Okay, now at times you feel the need of changing the font size in UFT and all. So these are small things. Okay, I'm going to take very small things, but very powerful and very important, because at times when you get stuck with them, you get stuck very badly. Okay, at times you would want to change the font size of your UFT. That can be done with the tools options over here. Okay, You can go into tools option and go into the text editor tab on the last, right? And you will see fonts and colors. You can select the font which you want, the background color, foreground color, whatever you want. Okay, so this is the this is for changing the font, right? And now help my UFT is not recording and running the scripts. I already talked about that. There can be multiple reasons for that. It depends on Windows and web-based applications. You need to remember the rules, right? And results page, yes, this is important. Okay, now in your UFT, if it's freshly installed, you would see that whenever you execute your script, after the script executes, a result page comes up automatically. Right, I have done settings in my UFT to prevent that result page to come up automatically, right? This is the shortcut on the top right. You see the small icon with the red sign, this one. Okay, if you click on it, my results will come for the last run, right? And if you expand this, you will see the each and every action which you performed, and on the right side you'll have the results and all everything. Now this is the results panel in UFT, right? It comes up. You can open it yourself over here as well. Otherwise, when you run the script, it opens up automatically when the script runs, after it runs, right? Now you can go inside tools options over here, and under the run session you will see a checkbox. In your UFT, if you have freshly installed it, you will see the checkbox click, that is view results when the run session ends. Look, you can uncheck this because it can be really frustrating that every time you run the script, even if you run one line, a result window automatically comes up, right? For example, if I keep it checked and if I run this, you will see that, hold on, the script ends, right? And this result window automatically comes up. So you don't want it to come up every time, right? So you just make this option off. Okay, that will help, right? That will help. So this is one of the issues which people encounter at times. Fine. Now another important thing is run from step and run to step. This is a very important feature in UFT. Okay, now at times what happens is that you want to start executing your script from the middle. Say I want to execute my script from the line number 5. I don't want to execute the first 4 lines. Suppose I have my calculator already opened and I want to start from line number 5. So it's very simple. You right click on line number 5 and you select the option run from step. Okay, when you select this option, script will start running. Yeah, you see that it's running from line number 5, right? So this is very powerful thing, because you know what happens is that suppose you are on a web-based application, right? You are having 3 pages on which your script is working. So the flow is like that. First you go on page number 1, then page number 2, and then page number 3 during the automation process, right? Now you are in the middle of developing the script and you are developing the script for page number 2, right? Now when you run your script, you don't want that script should start from the very beginning. Okay, you can probably open the page number 2 at the background in your browser. You can open it and you can run the script from that particular step, and script will start executing from that particular line and or from that particular page. I hope you are understanding me. That is, you can keep your browser opened at the background, right? You can have any web page opened over here, for example cnn.com. okay, and you can have the recorded script for this cnn.com in your UFT, right? And you can right click and run from that particular step. The script will start from that particular page. Okay, we will do that later on. We'll do a lot of things like these later on. Just telling you to, so that you have an idea that there is something like run from step. Okay, there is also a shortcut, keyboard shortcut for this. You just click on the line from which you want to start executing and just hit Control F5. Okay, Control F5 is the shortcut for running from step. I'll open calculator. Yeah, so you see that it starts running from that particular step. Okay, so and another option is there, run to step. Okay, right click, run to step, as logic says that the script will start from line number 1 and will execute till that particular step. Okay, this is not so widely used, but more of a times you will use run from step, but this option is also there, run to step. You run it and it will start from the first line and it will run till that particular line. Fine. So that's how you execute these things, run from step, run to step. Okay, the shortcut for run from step is control F5. Rather, there are many shortcuts. Okay, F5 is the shortcut for if you move your mouse over the run, you will see that the F5 is the shortcut for run. For recording, F6 is the shortcut. Right, and there are other shortcuts as well. I'll just talk about it. Control F5 is the shortcut for run from step. Alright, so now commenting and uncommenting code, yeah, that's what exactly I did right now. I commented the single quote means a comment. If I put a single quote in front of a line, that line will be disabled and will not be executed when you run the script. Okay, so this single quote is a comment in UFT, and if you select multiple lines, right, and if you right click, you can comment multiple lines as well. Shortcut is Control M. Right, you see that multiple lines get commented. You can select multiple lines, right click and uncomment as well. Right, so this is about commenting and uncommenting the code. Very important thing again, because at times you would want to comment some part of the code to prevent it from executing. Right, okay, now another thing is optional step. Okay, now optional step, it's too early to explain at this time, but just I want to give you a brief idea. Alright, now suppose you go to a web page. Fine, on that web page, suppose you record the script for clicking on a certain link. Right, now you are not sure whether the link will come next time when you go to that page or not. If the link never comes up, UFT will throw an error that link is not found. Right, you don't want UFT to throw the error. Right, so now hold on, yeah, sorry, the thing is, in case of calculator as well, suppose there is some button, right, which might come up or might not, although all the buttons they come up, but just taking a scenario which might come up sometimes or might not come up. So you really don't know when a particular element or an object is appearing. Fine, and if it is not appearing, you just want to ignore. You don't want to throw the error that it's not appearing. You just want to ignore and continue forward with the script. Okay, so a line which you want to ignore in case the particular element is not present, right, you can put in front of that line optional step dot. With this thing, what happens is that, right, the line will be ignored in case the particular button is not present. Alright, rather than throwing the error, this line will be ignored. So this is a very important feature again which we will be using. Fine, right, slowing down the scripts and introducing breakpoints and all, it's quite easy. All you need to do is that you need to go to tools options. Fine, and in that, hold on, go inside GUI testing, the second tab, and go inside test runs. Okay, now there are two types of run options, a fast run option and a normal run option. By default we have the normal run selected. Okay, and you have the fast run as well, in which the script runs very fast and you will not see the yellow line coming up. If I run this now in fast run, you'll see that it's running quite fast and you don't see the yellow line which points to each and every line when the script executes. That will not come up. Fine, okay, so right, so over here you have, hold on, tools options, right, and inside tools options you will actually go inside test runs and select normal run now. Okay, in this you can delay the step of each step execution by certain time. I have given 300 milliseconds. What happens is that with this, between each and every line there will be a delay of 300 milliseconds of execution, right? When I run it, it will actually, you'll see the yellow line coming up and there will be some delay 300 milliseconds between each and every line. So the script speed actually slows down. You need to slow down the script in order to debug it. Okay, we'll see the debugging options as well. Debugging is like executing the script as per your own wish, okay, your own speed. Fine. So to debug the script, the line which you want to debug on, fine, you click in front of that line. You'll see a red mark coming up. Okay, just be with me, you will understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, when you run the script, you will realize that the script will run and two instances got opened. I'll close one of them. Yeah, script will run and it will stop on that particular line. It has simply halted on that line. At the bottom you will get the message paused. Fine. And from this line you can run the script line by line by pressing F10 of your keyboard. If you press F10 of your keyboard, the line number 4 will get executed. If you press F10 again, then line number 5. Okay, so you click on one line at a time. You click on F10, one line at a time will be executing. I am not hitting F10 right now because if I hit F10, then the recording stops. The recording software, the shortcut for stopping the recording is F10. So I am not hitting it right now. Alright, so if you hit F10, you can debug the script. You can run the script line by line and you can see the output. Okay, this is to debug, to run line by line, right? And this point which we had created is known as breakpoint. You can create multiple breakpoints, right? Suppose if I create one breakpoint over here and one breakpoint over here. Alright, now if I run my script, the script will stop on the first breakpoint. Fine. And if you hit F5, F5 is to run the script, right? If you hit F5, it will start again normally and it will stop on the next breakpoint. So in your scripts at times you feel the need of putting multiple breakpoints as well. Alright, and under the breakpoint tab over here, right, you will see the breakpoint tab at the bottom. You will see both the breakpoints which were introduced over here, right? You can right click on it, you can disable or enable the breakpoint as well. I'll click on disable, so these breakpoints get disabled. The red mark is now actually a circle. Fine, you can enable it, disable it as per your choice. Fine, or you can simply say remove all and everything will be removed. So it depends on you. We will be using this feature as well. Okay, right, just be with me. I'm telling you simple things which will be later on used a lot. Saving the test, it is very simple. In QTP 10 11 you had to explicitly save the test, but when you use QTP or when you use UFT 12, the test is automatically saved when you create a new test. If I create a new test, it will automatically be saved at this particular location which you enter, right? If I look at this particular test, fine, if I look at the place where it's saved at test 1. Fine, inside test 1 you'll see a lot of things, right? I'll go inside action 1, right? Action 1, this is the action which you actually see inside UFT. Alright, this is actually the action 1 which you see inside UFT, and you'll see scripts.mts file in it. Inside this file, fine, inside this particular file you will see that the script gets stored. I did not save my script, right? That's why you are getting the older script right now. Okay, so inside script.mts, the script which you write inside UFT, it's stored over here. Okay, fine. So don't expect the test 1 which is visible over here to be a file inside your hard disk. It will look like a folder. Alright, when you try to open it, it will look like a file. If you go to file, open, test, then test1 will look like a single, a single icon. Okay, don't get confused. At times people they get confused. Over here it is looking like an icon, and on the hard drive it's looking like a folder. Then what's the reason? Don't get confused. It will look like an icon if you open up from UFT, right? So this is about saving the test. Okay, now encoding the password. This is another important thing, right? Suppose if I open up UFT, this is my script. Okay, at times you want to encode your password, you just don't want to enter it directly, right, into the application. For example, if I start recording, fine, and hold on, I open a browser, I go to a website, like I go to salesforce.com, I click on login, fine, and I enter the username, some password, right? So you will see the script generated in UFT, right? Now inside UFT, I don't want to take up explicitly one line at a time, and I don't want to actually tell you what the script is doing, but at this stage, understand the point that this line is setting the username and this line is setting the password. Look, UFT automatically encodes the password. UFT automatically encodes the password which you enter into the password field, and you will not be able to see the password directly. Okay, you will not be able to see the password directly over here. Fine. Now you can also encode your username. Suppose if you want to encode username, fine, you can do that. You can go to password encoder. Okay, password encoder is installed along with UFT. Okay, if you open password encoder and if you put any string over here, if I write hello and if I write generate, you will have the string generated, encoding string generated. Every time you write generate, a different string will be generated. Please note this. Don't think that every time the string will be the older one, right? Every time you click on generate, new string will be generated. You copy it, fine, and you can paste the encoded string over here. But if you don't want the users to look at the actual string or actual input, right? And instead of set, you write over here set secure. Sorry. So you write over here set secure. So what happens is that automatically when the script runs, it will decode, UFT will automatically decode the string. Okay, for example, if I open up my application, right, and I delete these things and I open up UFT, and now if I want to run the script from this page only, I don't want to run it from the very beginning, I can right click on this particular line and say run from step. So what will happen is that script will execute from this line, and you see that hello gets written over here, fine. So automatically UFT, it hold on, it will decode the string. Okay, you can encode the string by going to the password encoder, fine, and automatically UFT will decode it. Passwords, they are by default, when you're recording passwords, they are by default encoded and kept, fine. So this was about encoding and decoding scripts, the strings in the scripts, right? Now what about batch runner? Okay, well, at this stage I will give you an overview of batch runner. I'll not actually show the actual execution. Hold on, what I'll do is in this I'll create a new test, fine, and I'll call it test A, right? And inside test A, I'll write message box test A, fine, save it. Okay, I'll create a new test and call it test B, fine, and inside test B, I'll write message box test B, fine. So I have my test A and test B both saved on the hard drive under module 7 folder. I want to batch run them. That means I want to run them together. Okay. To run them together, we have the concept of batch runner. Test batch runner. Yeah, this is the one. This gets installed along with UFT. You open this and you will see that. Hold on. Test batch runner. It's not opening. Hold on. Yeah, it's opened. Right. So this is test batch runner. Fine. In this you can list down all the tests which you want to run together and you will get the results and all everything. Right. So you can go over here, file open, fine. And if you have already a batch runner file, you can open the file over here. I'll tell you what the batch runner file is. What is the file? I'll tell you. You go to file, add over here first of all. Okay, you add a test case, fine. I'll add the test over here in my QDP. This was test A. Sorry, actually you have to go inside. They have changed a little bit in UFT. Actually in QTP it was a little different. You can go into tests, add over here and select the test like it's already selected over here under module 7 test A. Fine, I'll click on OK. So test A gets added in the batch. Fine, I'll again go inside test adds, add and test B, and test B also gets added in the batch. Fine, you can save this batch. Okay, you can save this batch as a set. You can go to file, save, and I'll save this batch say inside module 7 itself as say my batch.mtb file so that you can refer this batch later on as well. Fine, and you can execute this batch. Okay, if you select all the test cases, you go to test run, all the test cases will start executing. You see the first one is executing and this executes test A. Then if you look at batch, right, it says that QTP could not run. Hold on, let me close QTP. Let me close it. Fine, you see the results link also comes up over here in the end. Fine, I've closed my UFT, right, and now if I run this, you will see that, hold on, I've closed my UFT, the first test launches, right, it prints test A over here, right, and in your batch runner the second test never launches, it again fails. Look, there's a reason for this, because you know what, in your tests there should be no message box. Make sure that there is no message box. If test A is having a message box, right, then UFT what it does is during batch run it fails for test B. Okay, so if you open your test A, open UFT, open test A, hold on, open test A and remove message box from there, because that message box is actually causing, right, the test B not to run. Alright, the UFT is not able to launch the test B because of that. So you open up test A, and in test A, I will, instead of message box, I'll just give the simple print command which you have, right? And you open test B. In test B, let the message box remain over there because it's in the end, right? It doesn't really matter, but in between you don't give the message box. Close UFT and you go to your tests and you go to run, and this will open up UFT for test A. You see that test A is printed. Now B will execute and test B is printed in message box. So prefer not to use message box when you are actually executing your actual scripts in a batch runner. Fine. But in real time, very few people use this batch runner. We execute our scripts from Quality Center. Fine. Quality Center, I hope you know QC, ALM QC. Okay, the scripts are stored inside ALM QC and they are executed on, say, a remote machine through LMQC. Fine, and the results are stored back inside QC. So we'll see all of these, right? So let's stop over here, and we studied all these things. Fine. I hope these small things but very important things, they have helped you in understanding various things. If you have any questions, you can visit me through the website qtpselenium.com. You can reach me. The contact details are over there. Thank you.